In today's video, we are making a super delicious palmnut soup, Abenkwan or mekwan as we the Kwapem friend. Let's get into it. So I'll start off by blending the marinade that'll go on my meat to steam it. So in the blender, I have some ginger, garlic, and anise seed. Of course, everything is already washed. So for my protein of choice, I have here some oxtail, goat meat, tribe, and I also have some cowhide or wile. And to the meat, I have a little bit of a few bay leaves. Okay, so that bay leaves and meat goes very well together to steam our meat. So I've added the wile and the prekese, which goes very well with abenkwan or palmnut soup. So next I'm going to add in the blended ingredients and also season with some salt. So when seasoning your meat, you want to add enough salt or whatever, enough salt, okay, as your base. You want to add enough so your meat comes out very flavorful, because this is your crucial point, and this will ensure that your meat comes out very flavorful, succulent, and delicious. So give everything a mix and also rinse out the blender so you can add that bit of water in here, because there's a lot of meat, so we need some water to cook our meat. But first, I'll just add that little bit of water from the blender, and I'll allow this to go for about 15 minutes, and if I need more, I'll add that later. These are the vegetables that I'm using. I have one large onion, some pepper, garden eggs, and some fresh tomatoes. You can also use tomato paste if you wish. And to that, I'll add some water, cover, and allow this to come to a boil. You can also add it directly onto your proteins and allow it to steam. Okay, so we'll cook that until it softens up. And in place of the garden eggs, you can also do zucchini if you don't have that, or the eggplants. And here I decided to add just a little bit more blended onions and ginger and garlic. So that was that. And so next I have here my palm fruit. I'm using the canned one. I cleaned the can, the top of the can, so we don't transfer any debris into our bowl. Okay, so I will open it up, and I'm also heating up some hot water, which I will mix it with the palm nut base. So we'll transfer it into our bowl. If you're new here, my name is Gifty. A warm and pleasant welcome to you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video to watch. And to all our returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back as well to watch. Kindly like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also engage with this post and give me a thumbs up under this video. Thank you so much for your love and support. Our hot water is ready, and because we don't allow anything to go to waste, I will rinse off the top of the can so we can get everything in there. Because at this point, I wish I had another palm nut base, like the smaller one, the smaller cans. Yeah, but I didn't have any more, so this will do. I just rinsed out the can as well. Then I will add enough water to dilute it. Once you add the water, just mix it, allow it to sit so all the whatever is at the bottom can settle at the bottom. Coming back to check on our proteins, this is how it looks. It's boiling or steaming beautifully, I should say, and the aroma is simply delicious and amazing. Wow, my Abenkwan vibe, no? So give everything a toss to ensure that everything cooks perfectly together. And I will cover this whilst my vegetables on the side is also ready. So I will get it off the stove and allow it to cool a bit. And after letting it sit and cool for a little bit, I'm going to blend it, then we'll add it onto our proteins. If you've watched until now, thank you so much for still sticking around to watch. I have lots of soup recipes on the channel, which I will link in the description box. You can go ahead and watch them. A lot of delicious Ghanaian soups on the channel. Okay, so after we add everything in the blender, we'll go ahead and blend this until nice and smooth. Once you have all your vegetables blended, you now add them onto your protein, and you can also add some carrots to this, or red bell peppers to this. That would be absolutely delicious. But the authentic Ghanaian palmnut soup, we don't add any red bell pepper. Okay, so give this a quick toss, cover, and I'll allow this to go for just about 5 minutes. Then I'll add in the palmnut base. When adding in the palm nut juice, you want to be very careful so you don't add the bottom part of it, okay? So because everything settled at the bottom, so you don't want to add it into your soup. Now I'll also add the vegetable broth that I have, that's from boiling the vegetables. I'll add that as well. Then rinse the blender with just a little bit of water, and we'll add that to it. Give everything a mix. Then we'll allow this to come to a boil and allow it to cook or boil for about 30 minutes thereabout, and then we'll go back and check on it. Alright fam, so this is about after 30 minutes, and this is how our soup looks. It looks incredible. I have here some oven baked mackerel fish. I have that recipe on the channel. I will link it in the description box, and also I'll put it on the end screen so you can have access to it or watch it. Okay, so I also have here some dry fish which I've washed well, so we don't get anything that's not supposed to be in our soup in there. Now give this a toss, and I'll allow it to go for about 20 minutes or so. For palmnut soup, typically we like to for it to be a bit light, because as it sits it thickens up. Okay, so the amount of water or the thickness of your soup depends on how thick or light you like your soup. Okay, you want to also taste to ensure that your seasonings and everything is on point. So after 20 minutes, this is how our soup is going. I'll add some zucchini to this. This is not cucumber. Anytime I add this, I get a lot of questions that why am I adding cucumber into my soup? It's not cucumber, it's zucchini or courgette. Okay, so I also added some fresh pepper for extra spice, and I'll give this a toss. I tasted for my salt, everything is on point. So at this point I'll just cover it. The fish has infused beautifully into the soup. I'll cover it or allow it to go for about 5-10 more minutes, and after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, this is how it looks. We'll go back to check on it, and on the side I'm making the my leftovers light soup, which I already have that on the channel, so I will link it in the description box for your convenience. That was the leftovers that I used. Whatever meat I didn't use in making the palmnut soup, I used in making that light soup, and it was so delicious and spicy. So over here I'm just tasting to ensure that everything is good and everything was on point. So we'll just allow it to go for about 5 more minutes. We'll turn off the heat, and so at this point your fufu, rice ball, kenke, whatever you want to serve your soup with, you are good to go. And guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for doing this with me, and I really hope you give this recipe a try. I have the palmnut soup, which I use the actual palmnut, the fruits which we pounded like we do back home. I have that also on the channel. I will link it in the description box for your convenience. And thank you so much for doing this with me. In the comment section, let me know what you'll be enjoying this soup with, so I can meet you halfway and serve you some soup. Until we meet again, stay blessed, stay out of trouble, and be well. Bye y'all.